Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. It is time for part 2 of the Monday Q&A, so let's get right to it. First question. Lost some feeling in my big toe after rack pulls. What do you think caused it? Nerve impingement? This could be a couple of different things. It could be a circulatory issue. You may have reduced circulation somehow in your leg or through an artery a bit to that toe and it went numb. But it very well could be a nerve impingement. And that's the thing you need to remember a lot of times with lifting, and the heavy lifting particularly. When we have other medical issues, sometimes the lifting and the stress on the body will let those things manifest, and they'll give us signs that something is wrong. So don't assume that it was necessarily a nerve impingement caused by your lifting, but you could have a nerve impingement already or something wrong with your nervous system, and the lifting actually triggered the symptoms. And generally, if you have something like that going on, you're otherwise healthy and you're getting numbness anywhere in your body, I have to suggest that you go talk to your doctor about it. It might not be anything, it might not be a big deal, but that's not something you really want to take a risk on, because if you do have a nerve impingement or something with pressure on your spinal cord going on, that's something you definitely want to get checked out. Don't just leave that alone. All right, next question. Will working large muscle groups 5 days a week, 3 to 4 sets, cause me to lose muscles? 70 to 75% of 1 rep max, 8 to 10 reps. I don't understand why you think this would cause you to lose muscle. If anything, you would gain muscle from this. Now, if you're hitting these same muscles with that much volume and workload 5 days a week, it might be excessive in the sense of you're not stimulating any additional growth with all of this volume, that you could possibly cut it in half and still sustain very good growth of the same amount of growth, and you're just burning extra calories and maybe fatiguing yourself a bit more for no benefit. But it's certainly not going to cause you to lose muscle, and there's no reason to think that this would. If your concern is purely muscle loss, there's no reason to quit doing this, although I will say that for most people, what you're doing here, because again, you're doing as many as 20 heavy work sets on each muscle group per week, it might be more than you actually need to stimulate significant or even close to optimal growth. So you might just be overdoing it, but if you feel fine doing it, you're recovering well, your energy's good, and this is the way you enjoy training, I don't see a problem with it. All right, last question. Using a ketosis diet for fat loss. When you keep your fats high, must you still remain in a calorie deficit? Yes, absolutely. And anyone telling you otherwise is promoting quackery. They don't understand nutrition. They don't understand human biology. Ketogenic diets do not, and it's been found from the research when we do carefully controlled studies, they do not have any metabolic advantage from net calories in, calories out than from any other ratio. The only benefits they've ever exhibited seem to be from the high protein intake, with helping with muscle sparing and with the thermic effect. So yeah, you have to maintain a caloric deficit. The human body can directly store dietary fat that's a surplus automatically, regardless of if you're in ketosis or not. It will store the surplus fat. So if you're eating in a caloric surplus, you will gain fat on this type of diet. Although you might still be losing weight because you are losing water weight on it. And people need to lose this idea that these type of diets are somehow magical and they have a metabolic advantage, because the truth is they do not. I'm generally not an advocate of them for most people, other than people who have specific medical conditions which this type of diet can assist with. Although I will point out, and as a lot of people will point out, for some people being in ketosis and these very low carb diets are a good means of controlling appetite. It doesn't work for everybody, but for some people it controls appetite, which helps you to keep your calories lower without getting as hungry. So that's the advantage they have for some people, but in terms of any sort of metabolic advantage, absolutely not. Your caloric deficit will determine your fat loss, even on this type of diet. All right guys, so that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys in part 3. But let me give you guys a bicep shot first.